Are you an expecting parent or a new mom? If so, this video is going to teach you everything you need to know about toys for the first 6 months of your baby's life. If you're new here, I'm Emily. I'm the stroller mom. I'm a mom of 2 kids, and I'm excited to share with you all the toys that I have used with my kids and have tested a lot. There's a lot of toys that I'm not featuring in this video because I think these ones kind of cover the main basics of what your babies will love, and then obviously kind of giving you categories you can then go from there. So I really hope this is helpful for you. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and let me know below what other content you'd like to see. So if you're trying to be a minimal mom, you want the bare minimal as far as toys and things like that for the first 6 months of your baby's life, then I would highly recommend you purchase the Lovevery Play Gym. None of this is sponsored. I purchased all of these things and I'll put links in the comments below on them. But this Play Gym is incredible. It's also very expensive. And so I'll kind of walk you through a little review of it because I think that's important to evaluate. I had two of my best friends tell me when I was pregnant with my first, you have to get this Play Gym. And I saw the price tag and I was like, okay, this is very expensive compared to the other options out there, but I do think it's worth it, and I'll give you a few reasons why. The main one is this Play Gym actually does have more longevity to it. You can use it from birth to almost a year. I mean, some can use it beyond a year. For us, it just wasn't as practical beyond a year, but for sure, the amount of use my kids have gotten with this one than some of the ones my mom or friends have gotten is a lot. And one of the main reasons for that is it has this structure that's pretty sturdy, and it gives you the ability to switch out toys really easily. The reason why I say the structure is really sturdy is as your babies get older, they kind of pull, and they can pull the Play Gyms if they're not like wood on themselves. The other thing that's really nice about it is you can see it has these different areas, so that kind of helps grow with your baby. So they have like colors here with flaps, they have sensory here, they have like sounds, like a little squeaker, your dog will love that. And then like a hiding and finding area, and then as well as this card and mirror section. So you get a lot of use out of that as your baby's early, but as your baby grows. But in the beginning, you'll mainly get use, I would say, out of like the crinkle sounds, maybe the sensory, and then this. I should know what it's called, but like where you put the cards, like a high contrast area, I think is what it's called. But then it also has these other toys that you can switch out, and I'll show you some of my favorite ones if you want to purchase additional toys to switch out. So the Lovevery Play Gym comes with all of these things except for the sensory strands. And I did end up getting the sensory strand for my second daughter, and they should be included. Like, it's already a very expensive Play Gym, but I think they know parents will buy it, so it's fine. But I highly recommend these. Starting around 3-4 months old, your baby will start interacting with sounds more. And these are amazing. They clip right on here, and we got so much use out of these. I would highly recommend them. They have like a rattle and a squeaker and just different things for your baby to explore and learn with, and I definitely think it is worth it to purchase them. Lovevery also is so great about doing guides, so it kind of walks you through all the different ways you can interact with your baby through these toys. And so from the early days when all they can see in black and white, they have this nice high contrast ball, and then there's a whole bunch of cards that come with it that you can put in and sub out. And I also loved taking these cards. We had a little bassinet for our stroller, and I would put them in the bassinet, and when our baby was doing awake time, I would put these in there. They had like a simpler one and then more of a high contrast one, and these are amazing. Like if you, for the first 2 months of your baby's life, really all they need is black and white things. And I will also say for the ball, the reason why I say this is the only toy you need is you can take them off and use them otherwise. So you can roll them with your baby when they're a little older, but what I did a lot is I actually got this, and then I have like, I think these are like $2. I had some of these like hook things, and so I would slide this on there and then hang it on the hood of my baby's car seat. So if she was kind of fussy in the car or was like, I kind of wanted her to stay awake and not sleep, I would hang this on the hood, and she just loved it. It's great. It's a really great to have on the mat, but then also that you can take any of these toys and use them beyond that. So between going on walks and using the cards to this, I just feel like this toy really covers almost everything you need. The other thing I will say is this ring here, these are silicone rings that are great for when your baby starts teething. Some babies start teething around 4 months old, as early as 4 months old. So that's something that's really wonderful. And then this sound this like battering ram, I think is what it's called. They have so much fun. You can position to them to where they can kick it and do all of that. And then there's mirror cards, which babies love mirrors. And I will say, as I kind of get into some of the other toys, these mirror cards are really great, but they get scratched up so easily. And so that's the one downside, I think, to the cards, even if you keep them in, or to this playmat, even if you keep them in there, I find they still do. And then Lovevery also includes 2 like colorful cards for when they're a little older. So I do think that's really nice. It also has a tent feature, which is not a feature I've used a ton, to be completely honest with you. And since we're focusing on the first 6 months, you probably won't use it. I mean, unless you're trying to maybe protect your baby from seeing the TV and you have them on the floor, you could use the tent, but it just kind of clips on here. More for when your baby's beyond 6 months. But for the first 6 months, you will get a lot of use out of this ball, the teething thing, and then this is just really fun for them to kick. It's also really great, like I've loved that little like sound area over there, especially for my first who did not have the sensory strands, but I'd put there and she'd kick her little feet and it was just so fun. So it's a safe place to put your baby. It's not a container, which is something that I know as you're doing research, so there's a lot of just debate. It's a safe place where they can be on their back. You can do tummy time. The only cons I will say is I wish it stored better. I mean, this is it, it's big. And that's another thing, it lasts longer because it's so big, your baby doesn't outgrow it, but it just takes up a lot of space and it doesn't fold. You'd have to like unscrew it, take the sides out, and then re-put it back together, which you don't want to do when you're a new mom. At least I didn't want to do it. So that's kind of a con for me. Also, I feel like this, like, what is it called? Learn to focus zone, with use and wash, it doesn't stay up super great. So I actually would take like another toy and put it behind it to keep it up so my baby could see it, but for tummy time especially and things like that. But I mean, it's fine. It's not terrible. And then one thing I will also say is everything is machine washable, which is so amazing. You can throw this in, all of them. You can take them apart. You can wash the other ones with the damp cloth. And then another thing I will say, and I should have included this a moment ago, but it's fine, is I feel like it's not the thickest. And so we have wood floor, or like laminate and slate floors all through our house. And so I do end up putting like a thicker pad, or like they have those mats that are like quilted. I would put that under there because I do feel like it's really hard. If your house is carpeted, you're totally fine, but that's something to keep in mind. And I just think it's a really good toy. So if this is your core, if that's the only toy you want to get, I think you are well covered for the first 6 months of your baby's life. There's not really, I would maybe just purchase these so you can take them on the go and hang them on like the car seat or the stroller, things like that. You have the cards. And then this. The other thing I will say, if you do end up having it or you are purchasing it, there are some free black and white cards that are like space themed on the Lovevery website. I will link them below. I'll see if I can find them. I think you can. And I just went to my FedEx, local FedEx, and they printed them on like this, I don't know, the like higher quality cardstock that like isn't gonna tear as easily. And it's so fun to have more options. Oh, and one more thing. I know I've said a lot, but you can put the cards in these little holders, which is so fun for your baby. So you can have a bunch of different cards here, have a mirror, you can put different things up there. So this playmat just has so many options. I would highly recommend it. Okay, so other toys. If you, beyond the Lovevery Play Gym, if you get this or you already have another play gym, then that's great. But here are some other toys I think your babies would actually know your babies love in the first 6 months. This toy, how many of you had this as a kid? I had it. There's a reason it's been around forever. It's a Manhattan toy company. They make really good quality toys, and this toy is wonderful. And if you have the play gym, you can just clip it on here, and it's great. It's another option for your baby to grab it, to play at. It's also a great car toy. You can put it on, you could lay it, they'll look at it and interact with it. As they're starting to see colors and depth, this is a great toy for your baby. Likely in the first 6 months, your baby will do might start teething and chewing on things. And so 2 options for you that I highly recommend. This is a banana, and it's super easy for them to grab. I think it's like $6. It's really cheap. So if you really only need one. That's the thing. Like there's so many people who are telling you you probably need like 500, but you don't need 500 toys. I mean, nobody needs 500 toys, but you don't need 4 or 5 different teething toys. I think if you have 1, maybe 2, you're covered. You're great. 1 for the car and 1 for the house or something. And then the more expensive one, Sophie the Giraffe, there's a reason why this toy is so popular. I will say they get really gross because of the squeaking hole. So buy a new one for every child, which is very expensive, but it gets gross. I did cut mine open after my first daughter, and it wasn't as bad as some of the videos out there on YouTube. If you're like that type of stuff, look it up. But it was kind of gross. So I would definitely say that that is something that's really great to have. You also could do something like this, a wood like rattly type toy. I have found that the teething toys are great. This is a fun toy. I really love it. It's also a great brand. But is it essential? I don't know. They're just kind of fun to have. Okay, books. In the early days, your babies, again, right around like 2-3 months, they'll start interacting with sounds. And so any sort of book that makes like this crinkle noise is going to be your baby's favorite. And it will probably be a game changer for you when you're driving in the car. So this is the one I got for my first daughter. It was so cheap. Like I think I got it on sale at Kohl's for like $5. It's the Hungry Little Caterpillar, and it has like a little teething thing. It has some sensory or touch and feel and crinkle. It's great. It was a favorite. It has a little hook. I think it actually came with one of these on it. So you can kind of keep it on the car seat or put it on the stroller or things like that. It's great. They love looking at it. And even when they don't have a lot of motor skills yet, it's just a really great toy. So I highly recommend at least one. So have one teething toy and at least one crinkly type book or thing like that. If you're mainly at home, honestly, the play mat is sufficient. There's the crinkle, and then if you were to get this, you're covered. But if you're not at home, if you're traveling a fair amount, you're going on walks, this is something that is really wonderful to have. For my second daughter, I did end up buying a Lovevery kit on OfferUp, and I highly recommend looking at Lovevery stuff on OfferUp because you can get some great deals. And because they're such high quality stuff, like they hold up really well. So I am the second owner of this, but it's very similar to the play mat. Has different like touch and feel, cards, mirrors, things like that. This as well, very repetitive of the play mat for sure. But I just wanted to show you it because my daughter really loved this in the car. Like this, I just kept this in the car next to her car seat, and that was something that she used a lot in the first few months of her life. So I would say, again, you could use the cards for the first 2 or 3 months, and then beyond that, between 3 and 6, they'll start using this and carry it well beyond that. And then mirror, again, if you don't get the play mat or you just want something, this one actually is Lovevery. I got this one on OfferUp, but it has a mirror on this side and then black and white, and I just would lean it against the couch. Or like when my baby was feeding her a bottle, she hated taking a bottle in the beginning. And so if we held this up above her head and she could see herself, it was like distracting enough to where she'd take a bottle. So there's a mom hack. But this is really nice. They have mirrors. I'll put one down in the links from Amazon, but this is a great option. And then the last thing I wanted to kind of cover in the toy category, again, if you have a book, you have a teething toy, if you have the play mat, you're pretty covered, but are some books and something you can use for bath. So for bath in the first 6 months, your baby's not really playing with toys. But these books are bath books that are okay, and there's a whole bunch of different kinds. These are like We Gallery, and I love them. They're such high quality, and when they're black and white, but when they get wet, so you can see here, this is what they look like when they're not wet, and then this is what they look like when they are wet. We have had these toys for 3 years now, and my girls still love them. And so the reason why I say you can use them in the first 6 months is as soon as your baby can kind of start to grab things, these are really easy for them to grab. They're soft and they're just easy. They can chew on them. It's just really great. So if you only have one bath toy, I would get one of these for sure. They are great. We love them. Another thing I will say in the early days, and this kind of goes in that same theme, right? Early on, they really love high contrast colors. So there are black and white books, like card books that you can do. You can use the cards, but then this Brown Bear book actually has 2 black and white images, the dog and the sheep, and I would just put them next to the mat and mix it up a little bit and they love them in the early days. And then as they start seeing colors like red and green and all the colors, you can just do different ones. And this one's big enough, it kind of stands up on its own. So I have really loved this book in the first 6 months of my baby's life. And then right now my daughter loves it and she's almost 3. So this is a great book option. Just a few more shout outs. And again, books start becoming a lot. I mean, always read to your baby. It's so good for them, but books definitely, they start to engage more after 6 months. So I'm just giving a few to throw them out there, but the Go Grandpa Go and Go Grandma Go have been some of our favorites. They're my favorite gift to get for babies, for baby showers when parents do. And if you're having a baby shower, do the book where you bring a book instead of a card. It's so nice. So we actually got these at our library and it was the first book my daughter would just sit through. She was very busy. And so they have really pretty images. They're fun for grandma and grandpas as well. But I don't know what it is about these books, but kids love them. So that's something I highly recommend. And then I have a couple touch and feel books. These are like television for your children. Again, they'll start interacting with them more after 6 months, but in the early days, there's just, you can take your baby's hands and rub them on them. I will say this is not the best book for if your child wants you to read it to them, which my 2-year-old loved doing a few months ago, so we actually had to hide it because there's not a lot of words. But in those early days when you're interacting with your baby, it's a great one. And it has a little bear and even has a mirror. I will say that these thicker, heavier books don't hold up as well. Like just, I think it's harder for the binding, but it's great. We've used this book for a lot and has been on many plane trips with us, and it's great. So that's a really good one. And then we love the Never Touch Up. They have a polar bear, different ones. So those are kind of fun that you can just kind of take your baby's hands as you're reading to them and rub them on there. This goes way beyond 6 months, but it's nice. You can start it around 3-4 months old. And then the last one I will say is any books that have pictures of kids in them will be your kid's favorite. And even, I think that's why Lovevery knows this, because they put pictures of kids. Here's one. This is actually one of their books that came in like the 4 to 5 month play kit, the body parts. But there's more. I got one from the hospital, like they gave like a little to-go bag, but you can find books with pictures of kids in them, but that is something they love. So high contrast in the early days, touch and feel, and then pictures or like high contrast images are going to be your kids' favorite things in the first 6 months of their life. So I hope this was helpful. I gave a lot of information. If you liked this and found this helpful, again, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.